Okay, so this is my question to you. What do you think that the left plans to do if and when Donald Trump wins the election, re-election? So I want to get into this because it is a little bit nutty when you see, and Rand Paul will be coming after this, up after this, we'll be talking about security. Yeah. The left talking about how this will be an unjust election, how Donald Trump wants to erode the trust in American institutions. And by the way, you shouldn't trust American institutions, namely the ones that Donald Trump supports, which is how we've held our elections forever.
Yeah, as long as we can remember.
And then they say, hey, we've also run numbers to see if Donald Trump wins and how the left reacts. It's not pretty. And then they call you Trumpkins and say Trumpkins have a conspiracy that there's going to be violent unrest if Donald Trump wins. I'm talking to you, Daily Beast. I don't know what your application process is, but I assume that it needs to include in the byline, filthy prick.
You have to check that box.
Yeah, I have yet to read an article of any value at the Daily Beast within the last 3 years.
And you've been reading it every day.
All made my life a worse place for having read them. So let's go through the list here because this is the narrative, right? Donald Trump wants to erode trust in American institutions. Nay, I say, I believe that it's the left who wants to do that. Case number one, the man whose head seemingly continues to grow into the shape of the emoji eggplant, Mark Zuckerberg, on the election.
One of the things that I think we and other media need to start doing is preparing the American people that there's nothing illegitimate about this election taking additional days or even weeks to make sure that all of the votes are counted. In fact, that might be important to make sure that this is a legitimate and fair election. So we're going to do a bunch of different messaging around that just to make sure that people know that that's normal. So if one of the
it's not normal!
In any of the races,
it's incredibly rare
before there's a consensus result, then we're going to add some informational context to that post directly, saying that there's no consensus result yet.
I'm going to fact check it with your Southern Poverty Law Center buddies.
Look, good.
We want people to know that if this election tends to be, if it appears to be an outlier to every other American election, by and large due to our underhanded methods, we want them to know that that's normal. It's not! Nope. It's not normal, and you're an asshole. Asshole. It is remarkable to me. Donald Trump wants to erode trust in American institutions. By the way that you've seen elections and watched election results come in for your entire lives and your parents' lives and your it's normal to not do that. We're going to do the opposite. It's like, you know what, the Super Bowl would be normal if instead they come out with baseball bats, strip naked, and sing clang, clang, clang with the trolley as they run down the field. Well, that's not normal. Well, to you, what is normal?
It's not election night coverage. It's election month coverage, I think, now. So we have to have more CNN live streams. Is that accurate?
But this is not. Here's the thing. This is why this is so important to me. To me, I should say. That's the most powerful. That's someone more powerful than Caesar. Okay? Facebook, Alphabet, YouTube, you know all too well. Alphabet, YouTube, Google, and Twitter. They have more power than most nations could have ever dreamed, and they are echoing exactly what you see and hear from the top. How do I mean top? Number 1 and number 2 presidential choices, candidates from the DNC, Hillary Clinton. Here's what she had to say if Donald Trump wins.
You know, Joe Biden should not concede under any circumstances because I think this is going to drag out. And eventually, I do believe he will win if we don't give an inch.
Drop the trap music under there.
He should not concede under any circumstances. Well, what if he loses?
Yeah, what about that?
Yay!
Well, hold on. She actually revealed her hand there. She said, I think if we drag this process out long enough, eventually he will win. Eventually we'll have enough time to rig or throw out Trump's votes or what? Eventually what? How are things going to change?
What's the plan?
With more time?
It cheats.
Yeah, exactly.
She cheats the election.
There's no
She plans
way.
to cheat.
You know what you're hearing right now is the spin on both of those conversations that's coming from the left, the excuses, if you will, right? The spokespeople that are coming out, they're all saying, no, look at Bush v. Gore. It took some time to figure it out. There may be some circumstances, but just like you said, Gerald, it's a very rare time. And what gives me pause is it's early September. Yeah. And you're saying now you're already kind of setting the stage for there to be this period of days or weeks, according to Zuckerberg, that it would take to actually even determine. But what are you saying? And that's what I'm most concerned about is them setting the stage for at the end to start letting the hijinks begin. I'm not. I think.
Right,
I think the biggest problem is we don't know what the hijinks will be.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're setting it all. It could be anything.
But when you do away with the entire standardized voting system, that's the thing. When they say Donald Trump's trying to steal the election, then Donald Trump says they're trying to steal the election. This is where you have to put on your rationalization cap. Hopefully, it's thicker than a spit hood. And you say, hold on a second. Who is trying to pull a fast one on me? The one who is trying to ensure that elections are held fair and free the way they always have been, with a system of checks and balances where we do know that there's a certain baseline level of transparency that's expected, or the ones who want to try something completely new, a process shrouded in mystery, and tell us that the results could come in at some point in the indefinite future. Yeah. Use your thinking cap. Who is trying to pull the spit hood over your eyes? Yeah.
And what this is, though, is it's a very clear admission that they are now engaging in a process. They are asking states and they are encouraging states to engage in a process that will necessarily have to, unlike almost every other election we've ever had, and a very important election, take longer, be more complex, and thus more fraught with peril. The entire time they have said over and over again, there won't be any problem if we just at the last minute switch to an entirely different method of voting that allows people to fill out anything. And now they're saying, I know we said it wasn't going to be a problem, but actually getting a correct and timely result is not it's really not actually.
Now they're the money pit construction workers. About 2 weeks. When are we going to get those results for the national election? 2 weeks? It's been 9 weeks now. 2 weeks.
2 more. Come
says Zuckerberg. 2 weeks, he says, Mr. Eggplant Head.
Well, I think we need to go back to Trevor Noah. We need the scientists. We need the science. We need science to tell us whether it's safe. We already have that. Fauci said it's safe to
Fauci
vote,
did say it was safe.
We're not anti-science.
Also, Nancy Pelosi said it was safe when she went into a particle vortex that was the air dryer.
And the people who were for 3 years saying that Trump stole the election are stealing the election in front of your eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
So these are the same people. They have no standard. Yeah,
they're trying.
They're attempting to. It's just like, listen, when people go into fights, if you look at any fighters, and we've had them on the show, I asked, remember Daniel Cormier was on the show, and he was known to have had a broken hand.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, no, you know what? I feel good. I don't know if you guys remember off air, he was like, yeah, I'm still actually kind of recovering. Because they don't want to, A, reveal their weakness to their opponent, but more importantly, they don't want to have an excuse. People of honor. Right now, this is like a fighter walking into the cage going, you know what? I'm going to do my best. Don't expect a lot from me. I pulled a hammy doing shuttle runs in the back.
Yeah,
it's like, no, Joe Biden, it's that you have dementia. I'm pretty sure it's the pulled hammy.
Well,
no, we don't believe you. You're making up an excuse right now because you're attempting to lie. If we want to eliminate the possibility of lies, let's use the system that we've always used and the scientific experts have said is perfectly safe.
Can I also just make one?
But we do have Rand Paul, and I really want to get to cuties.
Senators again? No, I'm kidding. Here's the thing. Who is the party that has been saying over and over again, you should just accept the results, never do anything bad? And now they're saying, oh, well, if we don't like the results, let's just overturn the government.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's exactly what they're saying now. So this is an article from Washington Post. They ran an op-ed by a member of the Transition Integrity Project. First, I thought it was, transition kids. Yeah. No, it's a totally different thing. It's their titles don't mean what they say, what they mean. Integrity means asshole. So, Transition Integrity Project. This was an op-ed by them at the Washington Post. So they kind of legitimized this person, sort of like, like Vice with the Portland shooter. This person wrote, a landslide for Joe Biden resulted in a relatively ordered transfer of power. Every other scenario we looked at involved street-level violence and political crises. You mean more of it?
Yeah. And from what side?
Why? And why would it be that a landslide win for Biden, but not a landslide win for Trump? Let's eliminate the people, the middle right there. Let's eliminate the median. Let's eliminate that concrete girder that Johnny Boy drove me into when we went to go to the AIDS walk. Let's eliminate that, and people who go, well, you know what? Maybe it could have gone either way, but they're saying landslide. So a landslide for Donald Trump, my right, your left, means that there will be unrest, according to this article.
Street-level violence.
Street-level violence. But a landslide for Biden won't. What does that say about the supporters of the losing party when combined, keep in mind, in tandem with the previous losing party, instead of showing up and delivering a concession speech, sat and cried in the room like a bitch. Now, I'm not supposed to say that because she's a woman, but you would say it about any guy. You'd say, don't sit there and cry like a bitch.
Equal rights.
Oh, I can't. It's the prejudice of soft expectations because we didn't expect you to cry like a bitch.
I really think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's
going to be a lot of crying. That's it. That's the most likely, most prevalent result that will happen in the event of a Trump victory.
By the way, we get a lot of people crying who are subscribed to us because you don't hit the notification bell.
Oh, yeah.
10 a.m. Monday through Thursday is when we do the show, but hit the notification bell. You
Always
know
missing
about
the show.
all of the live streams. 10 a.m. And next Tuesday night we'll be doing the Trump Town Hall live.
Oh,
Here's another one. There's already a network of left-wing organizations making plans for, this is the quote from Daily Beast, occupy shit, hold space, and shut things down, not just on Election Day, but for weeks. And this is what really bothers me, because people will say we're being conspiratorial right here. Like, oh, this is one of those QAnon things. No, you know what? Well, hold on a second. Let's do a side-by-side where Daily Beast wrote this article. Okay, they said that we should expect violence, not on Election Day, but for weeks. Let's bring up this side-by-side overlay if you can get it. And then yesterday, writing Trumpkins are losing their mind over Occupy Wall Street's faux plans for a White House siege. Can you believe these Trump supporters believe there will be violent unrest or a siege? Wait, you! You told me there was going to be violent unrest about. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I get occupy shit, hold space, shut things down, not just on Election Day for weeks. So it's not that I'm a Trumpkin. It's that my mistake was trusting you, Daily.
No, Stephen, you're misinterpreting it. That is what they're now calling a correction.
That's right.
They were in error, so to cover it up, they're like, these Trumpkins I can't believe they believed us.
Well, it's going to be his fault no matter what. If he wins, it's his fault for winning, and so we have to go and steal the country back. If he loses, then we're going to, or if it's even close, like you said, it's going to be a problem. We're going to have street-level violence even if Biden wins narrowly. Like, who's going to be violent at that point?
Well, yeah, and you remember all the violent uprising when Obama won in 2008.
Oh, yeah.
I
remember that.
Yeah, and the Tea
that was
Party,
tough
and
times.
people showed up and left the places cleaner than they found it.
Those guys,
And used pokey sticks to pick up trash like ex-cons. And then the media said they're stabbing people of color with pokey sticks.
Yes, there's video evidence of it. They shouted the N-word.
The media called POCs trash?
Whoa.
You watch your tongue.
No,
You may think that you're amongst them as a minority, but you don't count.
I'm about to be slightly frustrated by that.